Hey yo yo, hey yo yo, you guys! We're back with the next episode of our Sryth Fantasy Text-Based RPG. So I'm gonna work on doing the 7 consecutive days of the Crimson Helm Rider. I got a comment about if I do that for 7 days in a row, we'll get a dungeon open that'll give me something cool. So I definitely want to do that. And this will help me get back in sync on Sryth here, so that I'm not behind anymore. To come in here daily and do an episode. So I'm gonna start with that. But hey, thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Let's just go. So it was in southern, right? Yeah, in Longspur Downs. So we explored the downs. I'm not gonna reread this. I'm not gonna reread this every time. But we will cast the stones. First stone comes up as a 1. Pathetic. He's mean. Oh, I was getting 6s last time. What's this one? Okay, 5. And the final stone, 3. Hey, elementalism. Tally of 9, Rosa Rider, there's more to the numbers you might ever guess. This is not sport. And now, let me bestow upon you that which fortune has seen fit to provide you with. The rider draws an axe and extends it towards you, gently touching the top of your head with the flat of its broad blade. Almost immediately, strange and euphoric sensation washes over you. The Crimson Helm Rider slowly withdraws his axe from the top of your head, and this euphoric sensation fades. Now we get a fight. Perhaps someday again our paths will cross, says the rider, his deep resonating voice fading into silence as he turns his head and edges his horse forward into the nearby hills. Suddenly, the Helm Rider takes hold of a goblin head, dangling from the leather strap. So it's always a goblin? Because it was a goblin last time. I guess we'll see. This thing was hard. I remember that. Oh. Or not. Your skeletal flow collapses into a heap of slippery bone at your feet. Stepping away from the remains of the undead creature, you cast your gaze in the direction in which the Crimson Helm Rider departed, but see no sign of him. Oh, that's it. I thought it was a hard fight. It was before, but I guess not anymore. We're in rank 67. This is on rank 69. How rude. We're killing it in archery. Ooh, number 6. We're making our way up, man. One day we'll get to 100. And be number 1 or something. But we're in the top 10 of woodsmanship, slashing, stabbing, weaponry, unarmed combat, close on arcana and stuff. Arcana lore, another weaponry. We're at 11. That's almost the top 10. Alright, well, we'll keep that up. We'll come back here next episode to do that again. Will be the next day. So I'll just come and make an episode every day, right? Let's see. We still haven't cleared the Hall of Stone, but I don't know how to clear the Hall of Stone. I tried to look it up, but nothing really came up. We can go in there again and see what's going on. Well, no, it's not cleared. Alright, let's go down again. Alright, where's the next stairs? Oh. Give me the disc. Oh. I gotta redo this every time, you think? Finding the disc? Kill, 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 kill. Yeah, it's not really about the fighting for me. It's all about the story, more so. So that's why I do quick combat a lot. Me being a cool adventurer hero. Hey, rejuvenation. Stone Sentry. This is that fool that likes to get back up. 3 times. Okay, 2 times. Risen. Oh yeah, there's a statue. What? A statue. Kill. Kill, 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 kill. It's like Fallout. Like Fallout 4, it's not really about the fighting for me. It's about the story. It's about exploration. And this is a very good game for exploration. I still haven't seen everything, obviously. You know, will I ever see everything is what the question should be. And I think not. Especially since it's an ongoing game. Still being built upon. Suddenly, there's a bone disc. Alright. Another stone sentry slain. We need to use that rejuvenation right about now. Instead of when you gave it to me. Quick combat. No rejuvenation. Fine, be like that. Alright, let's go back to the spirit. Approach the spirit. Just in the stairs. Take the sword. This guy again. Hey, there's that rejuvenation. It's well worth that action right there to just automatically heal, you know. So it doesn't go any further down than this. And then we check out the spirit again, where and then let's leave. Clear and unclear refers to the current overall status of a particular dungeon or other explorable area. Status clear means individuals complete all major objectives for a particular dungeon area. This commonly includes defeating all enemies present, performing certain necessary tasks, or completion of combination of different requirements. The stats unclear indicate the adventurer has yet to accomplish all that is required to label a particular dungeon area cleared. Dungeons and other explorer areas that are clear will, after a certain time has passed, automatically reset themselves. What? Okay, no travel. We're traveling. Okay, yes, from the northeast. So let's move on to the lake, Lake Ebbmark. The town of Ebbmark, the town of ruined Stone Gap. Let's go to Ebbmark. Ebbmark. No, Ebbmark. Okay. Ebbmark. Okay, the lake is Ebbmark. The town is Ebbmark. Okay. Situated on the southern shore of Lake Ebbmark, the small town of Ebbmark is home to once thriving, though recently diminished fishing trade. Many of the town's residents, both past and current, claim to have either seen or encountered legendary beast of Ebbmark, a fearsome serpent says to dwell in the frigid depths of the lake. This sounds familiar. Have I done this? Okay. Let's go to the special goods. Tin Rim, a young and excessively cheery man whose glittering eyes follow your every move as you make your way through the cluttered shop, greets you in a friendly manner and fills you in the latest news from around the lake region. Speak with Tin Rim. Yes, let's talk to him. You speak a link to Tin Rim, who seems to drift from subject to subject on a whim, and learn that Ebbmark, while still prosperous by most measures, has seen better days. The young shopkeeper attributes most of the town's recent woes to the sudden decline of its fishing trade. The blue softfin, long a staple of a type of fish, Ebbmark's renowned catch, has all but disappeared in the waters of Lake Ebbmark. What is this about labor? The sprawling lake, nestled in amongst the forested hills in the remote northeast corner of the kingdom, is said to be home to an ancient and elusive serpent known in various legends as the Beast of Ebbmark. The town of Ebbmark, famous for its fishing trade, sits on the southern shore of the lake. Okay, blue softfin. Though not nearly as large as its sea-dwelling relative, the red softfin, the blue softfin can still reach a length of nearly 3 feet. That's big. But the blue softfin poses no particular threat to anything to save the smaller fish it preys upon with its razor-sharp teeth. It's not unheard of for large schools of these ferocious predators to attack other living creatures they come across in the water. The blue and red fish get its name from the broad, spiny fin that spans along the entire length of its back. The blue soulfin is a meaty fish that is prized for both its flesh and its abundant oil. Tinrin tells you that many in Ebbmark are prepared to believe that the beast is to blame for the disappearance of the blue soulfin from the lake. Bit silly, I know, he says, but most around here will swear to the beast's existence, even though they've never seen it. and they haven't seen it because it doesn't exist, at least not any longer. I suppose there could have been such a thing at some point in the past, but if it was still out there, wouldn't we be catching sight of it now and then? You know, like Loch Ness or something? You ask Tinrin if anyone claims they've recently seen the beast. He immediately tells you that the old Woodfin, one of Ebbmark's elder citizens, claims to see the beast quite regularly. In fact, she says, it's nearly took off her foot, he says, shaking her head. You know how these things go. The old Woodfoot. I try not to become too involved in any of it. Tinrin tells you that the old Woodfoot is usually found at the tavern just across the road. He roughly describes it to you as if he expects you to promptly head over to the tavern and seek her out. See, he wants me to do it. Well, one of them is usually over there, he says. There's two of them sisters. I don't really know that I can tell them apart. I don't have anything to do with either of them. The conversation with Tinrin drifts away from the recent troubles of Ebbmark's fishermen and into a wide variety of topics, most of which are of little interest to you. After several... Yes, zoom in. Minutes of a largely inane chatter, you politely excuse yourself. Alright, let's see what's for sale. Trash. Right. What, do I have something to sell? I would never sell that. For less than half what it's worth. We already talked to him, so we're good. Alright, let's hit the tavern. Hey, who else is here? Hey Thorn, how you doing? Not quite so recently. Okay, never mind. Oh, images, sweet. The beast den, named after the beast. Let's look at the beast. The beast of Ebbmark. Though most who dwell in the region of Lake Ebbmark believe in the existence of the beast, many of the tales and legends surrounding the famous serpent have largely been dismissed by outsiders. According to the legend, a massive silver and black scaled serpent with dragon-like head and 4 red horns is said to lurk within the dark. Dragon-like head and 4 red horns. Okay. Said to lurk within the dark, frigid depths of the vast lake. Over the centuries since the first recorded sighting, many living in the vicinity of the lake have reported seeing and encountering the serpent. While many believe the beast to be a unique creature, there are many who feel that it may likely be a large trosk, perhaps more than one. We know about trosks that prowl the waters of Lake Ebbmark, but by nearly all accounts, the beast of Ebbmark is a vicious creature that will attack and attempt to devour any living thing it encounters. Gotcha. Its keepers, Jin and Eldessa Kathman, recently purchased the tavern following the unexplained disappearance of the previous owner, Ibril. Despite the brisk... Okay, let's back up here. Lean back. Despite the brisk winds that often swept southward of the lake, the tavern's roaring fire, the centerpiece of its often boisterous common room, is more than up to the task of driving off the chill. The mood of the tavern crowd seems strangely dour, perhaps even somewhat morose. Based on a handful of conversations you managed to overhear, it seems that the recent decline of the town's fishing trade is to blame for the dampened spirits. Toward the back of the tavern, seated alone at the table furthest from the hearth, is a white-haired woman. Even from this distance, you can tell that the elderly woman's oversized left foot is made out of wood. Hey, that's the old woman. Okay, let's talk to her. The old woman looks up as you approach. She seems pleased that you courteously introduce yourself, but her demeanor noticeably sours when you casually inquire about any recent sightings she may have had of the lake beast. I think he got me confused with old Woodfoot, she says, sighing. That old gal my sister mine lives down next to the lake. She's seen the beast a bit, though I doubt even she's seen much of it these days. Well, who's to say, really? The woman whose name you do not know pointedly tells you how to reach her sister's hut, a dwelling which she describes to you in a disdainful tone. You thank her, bid her farewell, and move off across the room. So head to Woodfoot's hut, leave the tavern, and make your way to Woodfoot's hut option. Okay. Simple enough. Jern Kathman, a tall, slim, exceptionally pleasant man, greets you warmly and asks if there's anything he might fetch for you. Inquires about your recent travels, including what it is that brought you to Ebbmark. Just exploration, my man. But you sense he talks little actual interest in what you have to say. Okay, he's not really interested in what I'm doing. Suddenly summoned by his wife, Jin politely excuses himself and moves off across the room to diligently tackle whatever task awaits his attention. So, the old tavern keeper disappeared. How did they become upon being the owners? Did they buy it from somebody? Because if the guy disappeared, they couldn't have bought it from him or her, whatever. I forgot the name. Okay, Odessa Kaufman, a tall, sort of dark-haired woman with a manner of speaking remarkable finery, seems somewhat out of place in the common room of Ebbmark's only tavern. Greets you with a smile. She inquires about your travels and then asks how you ended up at Ebbmark. As if suddenly remembers something pressing, Odessa excuses herself and slips away toward the far end of the room. They're suspicious, for sure. Let's see their adventures. The Scourge of Ebbmark. He goes by the name Grima, though I very much doubt his real name, says Jen. He's a dangerous man of light in this town. I don't think most folk would care one way or the other if he were to go missing. Oh, they want me to kill somebody. Hey, why not? Let's hit it. Seated at the back of the table in the Beast Inn common room, you speak at length to Jen Kaufman, the tavern's tall, slim, and exceptionally pleasant keeper, and learn that he has become quite concerned of the local roughneck whom Jen tells you has recently been smuggling something across Lake Ebbmark by way of Ebbmark. He goes by the name of... Okay, he's tall, slender, and pleasant. He goes by the name of Grima, though I very much doubt that's his real name, says Jen. He's a dangerous man, a blight on this town, and I don't think most folk would care one way or the other if he were to go missing. Jen says that the cargo Grima is smuggling must be quite valuable, as he seems to have taken a great deal of precaution regarding its movement in and out of Ebbmark. I don't know what the cargo is, he said, but to be quite honest with you, neither do I care. Grima is nothing but trouble for this town and its good people. The Scourge of Ebbmark is what I call him. He's a bad and dangerous sort, and he's in company of some very dangerous folk who have no business in Ebbmark. Jin falls silent and glances around the half-filled room as if making certain his next words aren't overheard. It wouldn't be met with tears if you were to disappear one day, he says. Do you know what I mean? I think you do. Yeah, I know what you mean. Is he doing something, or he just is suspicious? Jin tells you that since acquiring the tavern following the disappearance of his previous owner, Ibril, he's become aware of problems caused by Grimar and his crew of brigands, particularly their suspected association with certain nefarious elements. Okay, what does that mean? Let's take a look. Night Whisperers. This fearsome brotherhood of thieves is thought to exist in many towns and cities across North Broadlands. It has long been known the city of Ravenlith in the kingdom of Riosil, to the east of Tisa, in the origin and base of operations of this vile organization. The name Night Whisperers comes from a long-standing tradition where the guild's assassins whisper into the ears of their victims, either just before killing them or while they lie dying. The Night Whisperers, that's mean. Like, you whisper to people as they die? The Night Whisperers are a highly secretive organization. No member of the Brotherhood ever communicates or even knows anything about any higher station within the guild. At the higher stations within the guild, face-to-face meetings are rare, and in most cases forbidden. Members of the elite tier communicate there through a series of complex codes, sometimes written and other times less obvious. These codes and messages are either left where their intended recipient will discover them, or they are delivered by a liaison who knows nothing about the business being discussed. At one time, the organization employed a band of highly skilled woodsmen and warriors known as the Black Guard. The Black Guard was considered the muscle of the guild and often called upon to combat the Brotherhood's enemies. Jirig Aeroth, known better by his moniker the Troll Hunter, was once the leader of the Black Guard. I know Jirig. Night Whisperers is a powerful and feared organization. Few are willing to speak openly against the group, lest they should suffer a grim reprisal for the insolence. The Black Guard was in years past a well-equipped unit of wilderness fighters supported. So the Troll Hunter was the head of wilderness fighters. Makes sense. The Black Guard was tasked with assignments that involved combat and confrontation on both large and small scales. In many instances, it is only public face of the shadowy Night Whisperers Brotherhood. The infamous band of warriors, Woodsmen, was led by a man named Jirig Aeroth, now better known as a moniker attributed to him later, the Troll Hunter. With the troll, that's who I will learn Trollbot from. There aren't many who say it, but I believe Grimar was somewhat involved with what happened to Ibrul. Oh, okay. Now we're talking. I can't prove that, mind, but I have to think that he was in on whatever happened to him. I say that because I had a bit of a run-in with him a couple of weeks back, and a very unpleasant one at that. He threatened me. Jin explains that Grimar asked to arrange a meeting with several associates in the tavern's common room after dark when the beast inn was closed. Already suspicious of the local roughneck and its cohorts, Jin refused his request, and Grimmer issued him a subtle but chilling threat. "He told me to watch out, that I don't end up in the belly of the beast," said Jin. "I immediately thought of Ibril. Though I never met him, I think he might well be at the bottom of the lake." Okay. Jin tells you that he didn't reveal anything about Grimmer's threat to his wife, Adelsa. He says that she would have immediately confronted the brigand and likely haven't made it not already dangerous situation much worse. "We, Adelsa and I, are not the sorts of meat that needs to confront Grimmer," he says. "You, however, are precisely that sort. If you listen to someone like you, at the very least, he won't be so quick to make threats or draw arms against you. I believe he's probably a coward at heart, though regrettably he's also the sort to have no qualms about dispatching he deems a threat to his enterprise." Jonah glances about the common room and then turns his attention back to you, his searching gaze leading you to believe that he's attempting to discern your reaction on what he's just said. "If Grimmer happens to disappear along the shores, none would give it a second thought," he said quietly. "They might even say the beast did it. The beast seems to get the blame for quite a lot around here. He has no family about that we know of, so it's not likely he'll be missed by anyone. Listen, I'm noble. I don't just disappear people," said the unsavory lot employed in his dark little endeavors. Jin tells you that he would like for you to rid the town of Grimmer once and for all. He says that he doesn't care how you go about it, or what the outcome of Grimmer is, as long as the roughneck never returns to Ebbmark. He says that he will pay you what he can afford if you succeed. I'm sure you already know how best to accomplish this. Please, Alison, will you help us? Divination. You sense that Jin has told you the truth, or what he firmly believes the truth about Grimmer. Okay. Sure. You agree to help Jin, telling him that you will deal with Grimmer and his crew. The tavern keep nods grimly and then suddenly smiles, telling you that it feels as if a great weight has been lifted from him. Ebbmark will be a better place without him and his brigands haunting our shores. You needn't worry either. There isn't a soul around who will be sorry to see the back of him. Dylan tells you that Grimmer has recently been arriving aboard a small boat several times a week, the smallest of the 3 coves of Ebbmark's shores, nearly a mile east of town. He's got a crew of 3 with him, sometimes 4, he says. I've had this told to me by a reliable fellow, and I've managed to see a bit of it for myself. There's something going on, that much I can tell you. The boat that lot comes in is loaded with something, crates or some such, smuggling something as like as not, though it hardly matters that. What? He thinks he's got free rein to do as he pleases. He doesn't care who he hurts or who he crosses. You ask John about the cove and he provides you with the directions to the inlet. He then tells you that, according to his reliable fellow, Grimmer will again be landing in the cove tonight, just after midnight. That'll be the place to confront him, he says, out of sight and away from town. And remember, the important thing that he doesn't return. How you decide to assure that outcome is, of course, up to you. Jin tells you that, with several hours to go before you would need to depart, you should rest up for the night's excursion. He tells you to settle in with the fire in the common room and offers you both ale and pale ale. I never know what folk would fancy to fortify themselves with. Around here, those bit by the lake's shore are just like they want pale ale as they are ale. Having spent the remainder of the afternoon and most of the evening in the beast inn common room, alternating between pale ale and ale, you set out from Ebbmark an hour before midnight, headed for the cove described to you by Jin. Following a well-worn road leading out of town to the east, you reach the cove and quickly take cover in the woods in the western edge of the inlet. There, lurking in the shadows, you stare out across the black, misted-covered expanse of Lake Ebbmark. A chill breeze sweeps off the water and drifts ashore, now and again rattling the leaves in the upper reaches of the trees that surround you. Having estimated that you've been waiting nearly an hour, you begin to wonder if there will be no landing at the cove tonight. When the sudden and unmistakable sound of footfalls reach your ears, slowly turning your head in the direction of the sound, you watch as a lone dark figure of a man moves cautiously along the wide track and leads down from the road into the cove's stony shore. You watch as the man approaches the shore of the lake and holds up a shuttered lantern. He looks around and then rapidly shutters and unshutters his lamp several times, spinning lanterns with bright light across the dark waters of the lake, what seemed to be a rehearsed pattern. After several moments, another light far off this dark surface of the lake flashes 3 times, an obvious answer to the signal sent out from the shore. The man, now standing just a few yards from the lake's edge, shutters and lowers his lantern. Your eyes become fixed on the distant black shape bobbing in the misty surface of the lake. As the shape draws closer to shore, you realize it's a small boat. After several minutes, you make out what appear to be 4 people crowded into a tiny vessel. It's not obvious that the man standing nearby is a lookout. It's now obvious, who's just signaled to occupants of the boat that it's safe for them to come ashore. You quickly decide that your best move would be to take a look at while he's alone. Elementalism. That's what seemed the most like it was in me. Channel your power of elementalism and watch as a long, broad arm of the mighty water elemental erupts from the surface of the lake only a few feet from shore. The lookout cries out in alarm and stumbles backward as the elemental surges, appendages lashes out at him, striking the side of his torso and sending him sprawling into the stony ground. As the elemental's arms sink back to the lake, the panicked man staggers to his feet and breathes rapid and ragged as he fearfully stares out across the dark expanse of water. Clearly unnerved by the strange and unsavory turn of events, the man suddenly drops his lantern and hastily retreats from the cove, swiftly vanishing into the surrounding gloom. Remaining hidden in the trees, you watch as a small boat comes ashore, and the vessel slips onto the shallows. 4 figures climb out over the side and haul the laden craft into the stony patch of the earth on the edge of the dark lake. You immediately hear the 2 men refer to one of the others as Grimmer, and the man identified as Grimmer tells the other 3 men that he wished to another boat before fetching the wagon. You also heard Grimmer comment on the missing lookout. As the 4 men began removing wooden crates from the boat, you realized that the town has come to make a move. I mean, it's a tale as old as time. There's 3 sides to a story. One side, the other side, and the truth. So let's see what his side is. You move out of the trees and brazenly approach the 4 man. Grimmer is the first to spot you, and you quickly alert his 3 cohorts, who swiftly draw up around him, their hardened gazes fixed on you. You've business here? He asks, suspiciously. Let's talk. You boldly attempt to persuade Grimmer and his crew to leave Ebbmark and never to return. With what you've only done a brilliant display of tact, persuasion, and bravado, you manage to convince Grimmer and his crew to leave peacefully and never return to Ebbmark. You'll have no more trouble from us, grumbles Grimmer as he orders his men to reload the mysterious crates. Once the small, hurry up now, we're off to find some friendly ashore. At last in the small boat and its occupants, okay, that was easy. Are no longer in sight. You turn and make your way out of the cove, heading steadily but cautiously in the direction of Ebbmark. The word of it never reaches your ears. Grimmer's life ends abruptly less than a week after the encounter at the cove. Perhaps perceiving his unwillingness to stand up to your weakness, the 3 men who long served as cohorts at the Brigand suddenly turned the tables on the Scourge of Ebbmark, bludgeoning him to death with the very cudgels they had so often employed at his behest. Wow. While his body may never be found, it's reasonably safe to assume that Grimmer's remains likely lie somewhere in the chilly depths of Lake Ebbmark. Wow. You return to Ebbmark, and early the following morning find yourself seated in a small room just off the back of the Beast's Den's main hall. Jin Kaufman, the proprietor of the tavern, nods grimly once you announce that he and the others in town will no longer be bothered by Grimmer. And forgive me for asking, but we can be certain of this? When you tell him that you're reasonably certain that Grimmer will not again return to Ebbmark, he exhales sharply and then slowly smiles. I did not mean to doubt what you said, he says. You've done all of us great service. I don't think I can thank you enough, but I can try. Jim retrieved the heavy cloth bag and hands it to you. Peering in the sack, you discover that it's filled with gold. That Grimmer and his ilk looking about the town will be a different sort of place. You've earned quite a bit of that, my friend. If there were more I could give you, I would, thank you. As you prepare to leave, Jin suddenly tells you that this entire affair will remain a secret. I won't even whisper to Eldessa. She can keep things to herself, mind. She usually does, but this whole business is better kept just between us. The grief of Jin and the tavern keeps seems both pleased and relieved. He then wishes you luck and tells you not to be strange in either Ebbmark or the Beast Inn. What I think happened is he probably hit on his wife. A new beginning around here, that's what this is, he says as you depart. New beginning, full of promises and hopefully prosperity. May the All-Father keep you, Ellison. Oh, there's ale and palo to be had just out there. As much as you like. You thank him, bid him farewell, and make your exit. Standing outside the tavern, you watch as a group of 7 children follow close to the heels as a stone-faced woman make their way along the town's muddy main thoroughfare. This seems out of nowhere. As you pass the tavern, one of the children, a tall girl whose head is covered with unkempt mop of raven hair, steals out of the procession, runs up to you. Before you quite know what's happening, she grabs your right hand, turns it over, and presses something small and cold into it. You can keep it, she says, flashing you a mischievous smile before turning and slipping back into the departing flock. She looks back only once as her group turns a corner and Lane disappears from view. Almost immediately, your curious gaze becomes fixed on the copper coin resting in the palm of your right hand. Closely examine the worn piece and discover that one side bears the etching of a star. Copper coin, star. Wondering if any significance may be attached to the unexpected acquisition, you slip the coin in amongst your other possessions. Then, vowing to momentarily put But the strange encounter and your confrontation with Grandma out of mind, you wander along the lane, happy to just stroll for a while and take in the many sights and sounds of Ebbmark. This is interesting. Who is this little girl? Why is she giving me coins? Well, there you have it. I'm gonna make my way to Woodford's hut in the next episode. This one has ended for me. But thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Until next time, you know what I'm gonna say. Peace.